What is up, YouTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk about boomer technology. Of course, I mean the baby boomer generation. That's kind of starting to retire now, and Gen X is taking over a little bit, or they are more in the middle there, and then they are also going to retire. But because people are living longer now, the boomers, we still use a lot of boomer technology, baby boomer technology. You can say that it was earlier generation also, but let's simplify it a little bit. So we have the millennials, and we have the Gen Z, and then we have another generation coming here kind of soon. And finally, we're starting to see some millennials starting to move to these new systems. Uh, Blockchain technology, of course. Or they're at least starting to show a little bit more of a curiosity and starting to think a little bit more. And some millennials are actually using it. So millennials are around 1980 to mid 90s. And I would actually say with the Gen Z, there is actually, I would say there is a lot of early 90s, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994. That sort of still goes as Gen Z, especially if they're using digital computers a lot. They still sort of go in that sort of category. So that can be kind of good there to know. So yeah, we're starting to see some or more and more millennials sort of starting to see this boomer technology. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in an Instagram age, like instant, when you do everything instant. You can't use boomer technology. And now, I mean, of course, slow banks, slow, not just banks, but like slow systems where you have to go to an office or places where humans are, and you sort of have to do things manually. And you go up to some office, you make something happen, and it takes a couple of weeks to just change a paper. Or I could take this example using boomer technology, for example, a bank. If I, for example, in my company, if I want to like make a transaction to a bank account, uh, it takes like, sometimes if I hear my accountant do it, it's like, okay, if I told him like, okay, can we like do this transaction, just because how the bank kind of work, boomer technology, it's like, okay, you can't make the transaction right now, it's gonna happen in like 14 days. Like, I don't even know why. Like, I don't understand why this technology is so inferior, and why millennials have to deal with this annoying stuff. But the boomers don't like technology that much. Uh, and they definitely don't like this idea of, they have a more local identity. Uh, they're not like interacting with so many people outside of this like local thing. So yeah, it's nice how this finally gonna change the next 5 years, next 5 to 10 years. You're starting to see it with the smartphones. Oh, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great. Like, just using modern technology that millennials and Gen Z deserves. Now, the Gen Z, they're not really aware of any of this in many ways, because, well, they are using some other, they're using a lot from the boomers and the Gen X, on digital Gen X, that has sort of made some kind of centralized digital apps. Sure, they're sort of using that, but they're not at the moment really aware of this like blockchain stuff. But they probably will in a few years. They are going to see the benefits of that. But the thing with the Gen Z is they're not really having any money right now. So, well, a lot of this technology, you sort of need a kind of decent smartphone, like a decent computer, and then you can sort of see the benefits of blockchain technology. But most of them currently do not have access to that. But a lot of millennials are starting to realize, oh, we have something that's way faster now, and we don't have to use boomer technology. Finally, finally breaking free. Even though we've had technology like internet, we've had it for 2 decades. Probably have it longer, yes, but in terms of like regular internet, what we would call regular internet, 2 decades, yes. But we still it still has been under the tyranny over, yeah, this slow, let's say it's been taking a lot of time to sort of build up computing power, and now we're finally starting to have it in a small enough form factor with enough computing power where we can run new customized software and getting people on board. I mean, that's really the game the next 5 to 10 years. Getting people on board and let them see this is so much better. This is so much better. It's so much faster. And yeah, it's really interesting because a lot about education is kind of interesting how like educating people about something, it can take a lot of time because there's so much involved, and it takes a lot of willingness to sort of understand a lot. And but I think we're gonna have soon, once we have all the data for how to do stuff, we can sort of make animated videos quite easy, animated cartoon movies. You use feed in the script, the scenes, the characters, feed it some text, can even be your own voice, and then it can make movies on auto that can help people fast sort of understand new concepts. That's really going to speed things up, because a big thing in all of this is like learning people quick and making people sort of understand stuff, and how it becomes with the millennials and sort of the Gen Z. They're sort of starting to realize that they have to constantly learn new stuff, new concepts, while the Gen X and the baby boomers, they did it a while and then they just do the same thing on repeat. The Gen X is a little bit more rock and roll, where they are like, they grew up with like Star Wars and all these action movies, so they can like free run it, or like they can be very independent. But the baby boomers that still has a lot of influence. They they like it the way they grew up with it. They like their habits and their routines. That's why it's moving a little bit slow. Yeah, and I mean a big aspect, as I said, I mean people usually didn't, like, we're living longer, right? So it's like everything is like everything is everything can go a bit slower for newer generations, because let's say you have a queue, people wanting food. Well, the more people there are on earth, the longer the queue is going to become. And and so it's like this long long queue, and everyone wants food, and but the queue is always getting longer because the population is still growing. We're going up to 10 billion. I mean, that's going to be a long queue eventually. So there's always going to be stuff to do. And it's really interesting how I don't think the boomers understand in many ways how in this like global landscape, well, if you go back to that era, we were around 2 to 3 billion people when a lot of that technology got laid down. But now almost 8 billion people, and then 9 billion people. You need way better technology that's way faster and that works with all people. I mean, you just need it, because the moves, people making faster moves, and the people don't have so much. There's no really clear role, as the boomers had the luxury to sort of have. And also how everyone now wants the same kind of, everyone has transportation now, so everyone of course wants the latest luxury, everyone wants the same kind of lifestyle. as maybe their generations was kind of deprived of. So that's also something that's kind of interesting to sort of consider. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video to just to remind people, because especially millennials and Gen Z, like a lot of millennials they're not even aware of this. They're not even aware new technology is coming. The Gen Z also, as I said, they're not so much aware of it, but eventually they are gonna use so much better technology, and they're gonna realize, wow, we are really enjoying the benefit of using this new technology. Not boomer technology, but new, fresh technology. So even though we have like cool smartphones and all this super much computing power, like cool laptops and all this, most people cannot see the reward of it right now, because you're plugging into an old, outdated system that has way different mindset of who should have value. It's way more exclusive. It's like not everyone should have value. It should be very, very hierarchical and competitive, and it doesn't really make any sense. This like industrial mindset in like a digital age, when you can have abundance if you just tweak the technology a little bit. Yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, DTube, and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.